Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy, Dino, and Jared.
All right, welcome back. We are here tonight for the, what is this, our 300th time with Tony from SCI.
Yeah.
It's
getting there.
Good to see you again, Tony, but you brought a special guest with you today.
Right.
And I would like for you to introduce him.
Well, thank you for that, and thanks for having us yet again. And yeah, this is just I'm just a guest. I'm like a guest of a guest now. You know, we've got our special guest, our international guest from South Africa, Mr. Pieter Viviers from Marupa Safaris, and he might be a little nervous, but he's going to be okay. He's you guys have heard me give my best Afrikaans accent impression for the number. I think every podcast we've done together. So
right.
Now you can hear the real thing, and you can critique mine later. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get Pieter here. Really excited to introduce him to you all, and really excited to expand just what's Africa about. Here's some of Pieter's stories. We can go down whatever avenues everybody wants to go down, but just excited that he's here, excited that he's doing. He's probably the first. I don't know. Is there any other Afrikaans in a podcast that you can think of? Because I can't.
Not that I can think of.
Not off the top of my head. Maybe
so we might have one of the first.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I can't quote on it. So somebody will correct me.
We'll just say it. Right? We'll just say it.
If you say it with confidence, no one will say it.
I'm going to fade off back here. I'm just going to help Pieter with his English if he needs it. And Pieter, go ahead, man.
I love it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's an honor to be on this podcast with Tony and you guys. So, I'll try my best to do my best English to give it out to you guys, but we'll see how it goes. That's why I've got Tony for backup. But if there's anything you guys would like to know or info you want to get about South Africa, I know Tony in the previous podcasts shared a lot of information, but I'm here to give you guys more an idea on what's going on our side of the world.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like we're like our friend set us up on a blind date and then also showed up on that date.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Right. I hope it's a good date.
I can use the room. I can go have a different date.
I listened to the podcast when we were driving to Tony's place about his crocodile that didn't happen on that safari. But there's actually a bigger story behind it. It was just to make sure I can get him back again. So that's why
that's good.
I didn't follow through on that.
There's always a strategy.
Oh, right. It's all one big conspiracy.
Yep. Right. I know we feel the same way. We're always trying to get Tony back on here too.
Right.
We don't have crocodiles to use for bait, though.
No, we don't.
No, we have Jared.
We have Jared. I don't know what else we have, honestly.
we just keep teasing him with the idea of a cooking special.
Yes,
that's
so
what it
he
is.
gets back on hoping this will be the one, and it never is.
Never is.
Yeah.
Well, when we do a cooking one, I'm coming up there.
Yes,
right.
Do it on site.
Yes,
taking over your house, Jared.
Taking over my house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send the wife and kids to the children's museum or something.
Boom. Perfect. Yeah. So where do we want to begin with this information about South Africa and the safaris? I mean,
well, I think we start with Pieter's background. How did you get into hunting? How did you get into guiding? And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but you own Marupa Safaris with your wife. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually my wife is she's the financial manager. So that's the only part she's got in Marupa Safaris. But yeah, how it all started is, I grew up in a hunting family. And, every year on the school vacations, we went up to my uncle's farm up in Limpopo and we did some just meat hunting. And then when I turned 17, I started to focus more on the trophy hunting. We had an organization in South Africa. It's South Africa Hunting Association, which is very similar to SCI, but that's just for South Africa. And so they had this program. Also, I think Tony talked to you about the entries in the book, like the silver and the bronze and the gold entries that you can get in the ACI books, the scores. And the South African, association had the same thing. And that's where I got into the trophy hunting part of it. was to hunt some trophies, on that young age. And when I turned 18, I did very well that year, and that's when I decided, I can accommodate maybe 1 year some American hunters. I'm not sure why I didn't thought of European hunters or anything like that. It was always just America. I think it's because we've been watching, shows in South Africa about the trophy hunting, about Americans coming to South Africa. And then, going to college, after college, by that time, mom and dad bought a farm in Limpopo. So it was an easy access for me to get to the farm and spend more time on the farm. And then I did my professional hunting license when I was 20 years old. And I did my first safari with an American client, for a different outfitter. It was for SS Pro Safaris, Scott Van Sale. He passed away a couple of years ago, but I did my first safari with him. And there was a gentleman from Michigan, Larry Smith, that was the client I hunted with. And I will never forget when Larry walked out of the lodge to meet me, he looked back at Scott and told Scott that he doesn't want to hunt with this young kid. So that was it's kind of, a shock if you think you are the best on that age. And somebody tells you, I don't want to spend time with this young kid. But it ended up, Larry went out with me and we went to our farm. So Scott's farm we call our ranches, we call them farms. So even though it's like a game ranch. So we went to our farm and I arranged for some lunch there. So we spent the whole day on our farm and we got Larry a big eland bull and a nice mountain reed buck. And that's when me and Larry got a good connection. And that day when we got that, the first day I spent it with Larry, he told me, Peter, I think you should do it one day to go and get your own clients. I'm like, well, yes, I'm just thinking about being a professional hunter. So the next year I was on a plane to the States and Minnesota SCI, where Tony is very much involved, and Alabama SCI and Michigan SCI. They accepted the donation from me. And so I think for the first 2 years, some of the donations didn't even sell because nobody knows me, So you're all this young kid sitting there and no photos to show of clients or anything. So I looked like a big risk going to South Africa, and it was tough. I think that those years you guys were going through a recession. In I think 2006, 7, 8. Those years was a couple of tough years in the States. So it was difficult to get someone. And at that time, mom and dad was supporting me to come over. And for 2-3 years, struggling to book a safari, mom and dad thinking, I'm just coming over to the States to have a good party. And they said, I'm going to give you a last go. And I had a guy out of the Minnesota show that bought my donation. His name was Dave Bigler. And, Dave Bigler, took me under his wing and he did his first safari with me and he started to open up doors. And through that, I met Tony. I've met a couple of great people in my life that really helped me, with this whole journey. So, which in Minnesota, I can mention the guys. It's Tony Roettger and Dave Bigler. And then we've got on the border, Wade Schroeder. He's doing a lot of my admin work nowadays, the communication with the clients. And then I've got in Michigan, I've got Bill Beddish, which is a taxidermy that helped me a lot. And then down south in Alabama, I've got the Chris William group, with all his friends involved. So, over the years, I got to connect to really great people. They've been building this business with me, and we got to a point where basically every year we are fully booked. We're almost booked up for next year, and we're taking bookings for 2028. So, very blessed, but it's not a one-man show. It's a lot of people involved in this journey to make it successful.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I feel like you heard something very similar when you were just a young kid wanting to go out, and I think it was your dad said, I don't want anything to do with that little kid.
Pretty much. Yep. And he says, why don't you go to Wyoming? And then I found my way to Minnesota. So, I can see that.
Right? No, it's cool that you kind of caught your big break here in Minnesota. I didn't know that. So
yes.
Right.
That's awesome.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I remember, that first year at Minnesota. So you can think about a South African kid, that doesn't know. At that time, I didn't know really how a computer works, and I need to communicate and do emails. And sorry, I think that time we didn't even have phones, that can send some emails and stuff. So the communication part was tough. So when I showed up here at Minnesota ACI, there wasn't even a room for me to put my booth up. I'm standing there with all my marketing equipment. I walked like 2 kilometers in the snow because I didn't have the money to get a taxi. So I was pretty pumped up when I got to the show, and now they tell me there's no room for you. And actually what happened is they set me up next to a bathroom, so you walk through like a little hallway there towards a bathroom, and that's where I met this Dave Bigler I talked about. And he's like, he was wondering why this young kid is here on his own, and sometimes you just get to get that opportunity. And that's why I tell a lot of these young South Africans that wants to do this safari operation deal is that you just need to keep on believing, and one day you must make sure you see those opportunities, because that's where you can miss it. If you miss that, like when Dave Bigler talked to me and he bought my safari, is to make sure you get well connected with this person, because that's the person that probably will open up a lot of doors. And if you're not going to see that opportunity, then you're probably going to struggle in this industry.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of it's, especially in the hunting industry, it's on who you know and make your connections, you know. So
yeah. What's the scary part about it is that it's actually, I'm saying scary, but I think a lot of people think that we come over to book safaris. We come over to talk to the people that the clients book you. So like the Americans is a group of people that's very afraid to travel to South Africa. So for me to go and talk to 20 people that don't know somebody that went to Africa, none of them will probably do a trip. So they need someone to refer them. And that's why I say, I just come over and do the easy part, is to talk to the people, and so they can see, they can put a face to the name. But, behind the scenes, like the Tony, the Wade, the Dave, the Chris Williams, all of them, they graft here on this side to make it easier for me. And so, yeah, you need to have that. Otherwise, every year will be a struggle for you to get something to get some clients to come to South Africa.
Right.
So how many clients does it take to book for the year? I mean, how many do you typically take?
We do 20 to 22 groups a year. Wow. So a group can be anything from 2 to 8 people.
Wow.
And we try to keep it that, you can, expand your business to make it bigger, but then you're going to lose control over it, because the lodge can just accommodate so many people. So yes, you can go to the next level and say, okay, let's get another lodge, but then I'm not going to be there. And I think this industry is a lot on, relationships. So you want to build a relationship with every guy that walks into that door, So that's why that's the decision you need to make. There's a lot of outfitters, in South Africa that runs way bigger operations, but I don't think, a lot of the clients even met the owner of the company. That's how big they are. So we try to keep it small. We love to have, families over there. Probably because we as a family are very close, and mom and dad lives on the farm as well, so that's enjoyable, to treat these youngsters. And I think our main focus is to accommodate first timers there. So 20 to I would say sometimes we'll go up to 25 groups, but then some of those groups will be only fishing groups, that comes towards the end of the year, that just wants to do a little bit of fishing and no hunting, more of a sightseeing tour. So, but yes, for the hunting side of it, we try not to go more than 22 groups.
Oh, a lot.
Right. What is the hunting season there? I mean, is it all year long, or?
Yeah, so South Africa is way different than the States. In South Africa, everything is high fenced. There is some areas towards the Eastern Cape. I'm probably going to get some South Africans that get on top of me, but most of the areas in South Africa is high fenced. And the reason for that is you get an exemption permit as soon as it's high fenced. With that exemption permit that you get, you get a list of your, say, 15 or 20 species that you can accommodate on the property. So with that, you have an open season from January till December. So it's an open season throughout the year. The only reason we don't hunt, in that January, February, March, and towards the end of the year is because that's our summer season and it's getting too hot to hunt. So a lot of risks that's going with it. But then, on your low fence properties, which there's not a lot in South Africa left, that hunting season is from May till August, and that's our winter time. So you've got an open, but with those properties, you need to get an hunting license, and there's so much more paperwork that needs to go. But that's very similar on what goes on here in the States.
Okay.
But as soon as you have a high fence, you have control over your property to decide, how many animals you want to take off, how many species you want to put on, or whatever the case is. So, that's how it works there.
I always qualify that high fence, right? It's you're talking about a county.
Right.
From a perspective of people, right? When you have high fence in the States, it might be 100 acres. I've seen as small as 50. But when you go to South Africa and you start talking high fence, it's from a record book standpoint, it's actually considered free range, and that's because you're still managing, you're still hunting a breeding population of animals, if that makes any sense, right? Yeah. Each individual concession is breeding and sustaining that wildlife, that ecosystem, maybe is a better way to say it, and you hop in the Jeep and you're driving miles. It's not like you're just going a little ways. So I always like to qualify that because I know Americans have a different connotation of high fence than what sometimes it looks like when you get there. So,
right.
Yeah. And what would you say the majority of your clients, what are they typically targeting?
I would say, so to begin with, most of the clients that come and hunt with me are more in the age range of, say, 55 years and plus. That's normally when the kids are getting out of school and then they have time to do something like that. And then, on species they target, there's just some species that will always be, a good starter for first timers. And it's basically always a kudu, impala, and a gemsbuck. I would say those three are probably the species that get hunted the most, in South Africa by a first timer. Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes you get strange people that comes over, they want to start backwards. They'll start with a buffalo and work their way back towards a duiker or a steenbuck. But my goal always is if I book a safari with a first timer, is to make sure I can have this person for the next 15 years. To build a relationship, and for him or her to come over, every 4 or 5 years and do another trip with me, so you have that first couple of species, that 5, 6 on a first safari, and then, another 5, 6 on the next safari, and then you end up with a buffalo on the last safari. That's kind of like almost like a thank you thing, you give towards them to just to thank them for the years of support. And so that's my goal. I know, there's some people that's probably trying to milk as far as they can, on a safari to get as much out of it as possible. But for me, it's more important to know that, give them a great experience and make sure they come back instead of see how many animals you can shoot.
That's why I didn't shoot a croc.
Next time, Tony.
No, that was actually just a joke. There wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
But I would love him to be back. I'm already, thinking about sitting down and talk with Tony to come back maybe early January before I come to the States for my marketing trip in 20.
Let's do it first of all. But I have a hunt I booked that I haven't told my wife about. That's in early January. I gave her an old fashioned the other day, and then I gave her a second one. I almost thought I had her where I could tell her what was happening. But it might have to be around December or something.
No, we haven't even talked. I just got here at Tony's place, and I was getting nervous because he sent me about 8 emails making sure that I'm not going to miss this podcast. So I was making sure I need to be here before 3. And when 3 o'clock hit, I was ready to go. And he's still, messing around here with the computer.
Yeah, so were we.
But, so we haven't even had a chance to talk about, our plans for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I had a boxed lunch. I threw it in the car, and I said, "Let's go."
Oh man, when did you get in, Pieter?
I flew in 27th of January.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, you've been here a while.
Yeah.
Yes, we started down there in San Antonio, and then there was a ACI show up in Michigan, the one that I always do, and then we flew down to Florida just to get a little bit of warm weather and play a little golf. And then from there on, we worked our way up to Minnesota. So
Nice.
and I'm flying back now in Sunday after the show.
Okay. Oh,
Then I'm heading back home. Yeah, it's always a tough one, as soon as you have, kids. In the beginning, it was nice to come over, and there's no kids and wife to worry about. But as soon as you have kids, a month gets a long time.
Yeah, it does.
don't.
Yep.
Yeah, you can relate to that.
Yeah, Derek can relate
For
to
sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough time of year to be away from
that.
the wife and kids, but
Yes,
that's the job, right?
Right.
yeah, that's what put the food on the table.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite South African game animal to eat? And
Yes, that's a
how do you
question that I
prepare
get asked a lot. It's always a tough one to answer because every year sometimes that comes through, American or some client or some friend comes up with a new recipe of something and then it changes.
Mhm.
But I would say texture of meat, and I would probably go with a springbuck. If I need to pick one, I'll probably go with a springbuck backstrap. That's probably what's my favorite. You can go to an eland, but it's so close to a cow that you're probably not going to know even you eat game meat. So if I need to pick game on small game springbuck and large game, I would probably go with gemsbuck.
Yeah.
Most of the South African meat that's by the grass eaters is probably the best tasting meat. As soon as you go to your browsers like a kudu and an impala, you might get some stronger flavors coming through. So I would definitely go with the gemsbuck and the springbuck. And we also try, to accommodate, whatever the clients are hunting, to accommodate them with all the species they're hunting, to at least give them opportunity to taste each of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that's probably the biggest downfall of South Africa is that the guys can't bring meat back to the States. I think if that was the case, we would have seen a different picture of people to come and visit us. It won't be just by hunting the trophies, but just to use the meat as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, can you walk us through what tends to happen with the meat then?
Yeah, now I'm going to play open cards with you on that. I can tell you that we've donated to schools, we've donated to villages. It got to a point where, you do your donation and the meat is not going where it needs to go. So this example in Limpopo is we used to give this school some meat donations, and every day or every time they phone, it will be either phoning my dad or one of the other PHs, and they'll load up some meat and drop it off. So we couldn't really control on how much meat we take over there, and we didn't have control over it. So one time there was a lady in town, and she talked to one of our domestic ladies that works on the farm, and she mentioned that that the kids don't get any of that meat. So obviously, it's kind of like we need to investigate. So then we started to keep track on, how much meat they take at a time and how long it lasts. And then it got to a point where, we figured out they selling the meat. So that's very difficult to control that. And like I say, it's still on your part. You felt like you've done something good. But yes, then you're on the other side, they don't use it that well. But orphanages are a great place to give some meat. You also can only be limited to so much meat at a time. Especially on the freezing facilities, our native people are not really set up with freezers and things like that, so they need to dry their meat. So if you give them meat, they'll probably make, we call it biltong, that's your guys' jerky. So yeah, but that you try to look at the people on the farm as well and their families, to give them meat. And again, you can give them just so much meat, and then some of the meat gets donated. Like in Limpopo, we used to donate, all the zebra and giraffe meat goes to the prison. They make sausage and stuff like that. And then, some of the extra meat that we can't use, we just donate it to a butchery, and they will give you a low amount of percentage on, talking about now rand per kilogram. And then, that's just to cover some of your expenses on, sometimes you process meat and do things like that. So that's just to cover that as well. But on the end of the day, you try to give the people around you that's close to you, as much as you can. And then, we also use a lot in camp for the clients during the year.
Yeah, I bet.
Some of the clients, we can't really use the meat because they're not the greatest shots.
Well, hey, he's sitting right next to you. You don't have to throw Tony under the bus like that. I mean, you're a guest in his home.
Sometimes it takes a couple arrows,
He does the best he can.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh man.
So on another note, I mean, other than the meat, how do like Tony, how do you get those trophies back? I mean, that's got to be a process. I mean, because some of them are not very small.
Yeah, about 8 years ago, I've started to do my own dipping and packing company. So the only reason I did it was to have control over the trophies, because if trophies go through too many hands, there's just more issues that can pop up. So what happened is, it was probably about 10 years ago when I got this email from a guy out of Texas, and he sent me a photo of a zebra that was cut, totally wrong on the way it needed to be mounted. And I'm like, okay, we need to get into this, so I asked him to send me close-up photos of the face, because a zebra is like a fingerprint. You can see on the face the differences between different zebras. And then, I was comparing the photo to what I got from him and the hunting photo, and I've realized that it's not the same zebra. So where do you start now? That a problem, popped up in South Africa, that it popped up in the States when it went to the tannery, so it's like it hangs in the air and will always be in there. You will never track it back to see where the problem was. So that's why I decided to do my own dip and pack. And the reason for that is to get the guys to prepare the skulls, to boil them, bleach them, and get the hides packed in a crate. So I do the crating and I do all of the boiling in this. That's why we call it the dip and pack, the skulls that we boil and bleach. And then I know when we seal that crate, I'm the guy responsible for those trophies, that went into that crate. So when it gets to the States and, there is a problem, at least we know where to start and look for the problem. It would be at our spot. So, but it's straightforward to do that. It takes about 2 to 3 months, to get everything, ready and in a crate. And then you just apply for the export paperwork through an export company, which is Ingela. That's normally just the company I go with because it's issue free. We don't have a lot of issues with them, and they are great over the last 8-9 years of doing this dip and pack business. So and so it's about 4 months you can have your trophies back in the States, and then you can send it to a taxidermy. Then you can do send it out to the tanning and get it all processed and ready for you to get mounted. I just like for the Americans to do it here in the States, because then they can at least get in a vehicle and go and look at their trophies, and if there's problems they can sort it out here. If it's getting mounted in South Africa, it might end up here with a a wrong face turn or something, and then the people, what can you do then? Then other taxidermy needs to fix that problem. So yeah, that's for me the best way to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, let alone, I can't imagine, shipping a done mount from South Africa, or at least if it's a skull. And, of course I can imagine with, the horns or antlers or whatever, I can't imagine that pretty big box at times.
Yeah, actually, it's surprising how in what a small box they can fit it in, because most of the spiral horns and straight horn animals, the horn slides off the skull.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So it's not like, you need to sit with this, kudu with the horns on it, so that slides off. And, a lot of people look at South African taxidermists and they look at the prices and see, okay, well, we can save at least 30%, doing it in South Africa. But the problem is you pay 30% more to ship that crate. Yes, because it's bigger. So it's on the end of the day, it's a 50-50. You must just decide what you feel the most comfortable with.
Right. Right. So
yeah, it is amazing how those crates come over with so much stuff in it. So it's impressive. And then on the U.S. side, just to continue to educate people, it's there's companies that do importing. Coppersmith is one. It's one I recommend all the time to people. Lisa Gingrich, and she's at all the SCI shows. She's great. So she helps bring all that stuff in, because you do have to go through an importer once you get here to the stateside to get it through customs and all that stuff. So it's a pretty simple process. It's not a big deal. You fill out some paperwork. Zingella sends it over, and they pick it up. I send it to Chicago. I always have it sent to Chicago. That way, if something goes wrong, I can drive to Chicago. Right. If you ship it into New York or something like that, it's a little bit more challenging. But I always have it shipped directly to Chicago, and then again, if I have to run down and pick it up, it's a day trip to go pick it up, and even get home if you really haul it. So,
So how large is the industry in South Africa when we're talking about the trophy hunting? Is that?
It's definitely in the top 5 of South Africa. It's your mining industry and the farming industry and the tourism are probably your 3 biggest ones in South Africa. And which I consider hunting under tourism as well, So for South Africa, obviously you have Cape Town and the Kruger National Park, which is big attraction for, I would say, mainly Europeans. But then of the hunting side, the Americans is probably at least 80% of the foreigners that hunts in South Africa is Americans. So, but yes, that's a big industry in South Africa.
Mm-hmm. Wow, top 5, huh?
Yeah, that COVID year, I thought that, a lot of guys are probably going to pull out of it and do something else. And it felt to me like that COVID year just made a couple of guys more stronger, to do it. So there was so much more benefits to it as well. But I remember, when we stopped hunting in, what was it, in 2020, when it was closed. So when we stopped hunting in 19, that September, we first started to hunt in 2021. I think it was a total of 22 months where we didn't have, any sort of income coming in. So that was a tough time. I was thinking at some point, that maybe we should just call it, to start out. You have all this money invested into the property, and, a lot of people, it's not like you sit on the deposits and wait for them to come. You use the money, and then you won't believe it that 2021, after we had our, opening year again after COVID, the whole property burned down, and we lost,
really?
We lost, a lot of animals, but in total it was over 1 million acres that burned down, So our farm was probably kind of in the middle of it, and it burned, 3 days. So, and I think that's where you can look at that COVID time where, coming out of that, you're so much stronger. Looking at that fire that went through the property, it felt like, nothing to what you had. It's all replaceable, it's the grass can grow back, the animals can come back, So, that's just a little thing on what happened, on that side, that time of the year as well.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's a big hurdle to get through.
Right.
Yes, it was a tough time.
So, Pieter, have you done any big game hunting here in the States?
No, not yet. I don't get anybody to invite me to do it. So,
Well, we're a lot nicer. We're a lot nicer than Tony. You can come hunt with us anytime.
No, I'm just joking. No, I get a lot of invitations, but I always try to explain to people, for you guys to looking at, say, an elk and what you pay in the States for an elk, for a South African to come over, our money is 17, 18 times worse than what your money is. So for us to come over here, it's way more difficult for you guys than for you guys to come to South Africa.
Yeah.
So it's quite expensive. There's a lot of money out of the pocket if you want to do any sort of hunting here in the States. But I believe, I still need to work a couple of years and work hard. Then I can start to enjoy, the hunting side of it here in the States.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. So, Pieter, in your operation, how many folks do you employ over there on a season basis?
Yeah, like I said, we are just so big. So on Professional Hunters, we've got 4 guys that's almost permanent with me. They do some freelancing. So if we only get a group of 3 people coming in and there's not room for that other PH, then he will go to one of the other outfitter companies and fit in that week or 10 days there. And then on the farm workers, we got full-time 6 people on the property that works for us, which includes, 2 domestic ladies and 4 of the guys that's doing the skinning, and we call them trackers and skinners.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it's amazing how it's kind of like it's kind of filling into the story of where Marupa started. Is we all started. My first professional hunters was one of my good friends. That I grew up with. He was my first guy to do a safari. With me and accommodating clients, and I think it's because we knew each other well. Today he's also an outfitter. So it's kind of like a business that's born out of Marupa Safaris. And then a second friend of mine that was very much involved in Marupa Safaris as well. He also turned out and is now a successful outfitter, doing the same thing that we do. And I'm busy with the third one now, that he's now with me at the moment. He spent some time with Tony when he was also there last year. But so his name is Patat, and he's also, I'm in the process of training him, to do what I did to make it successful, and hopefully he can also, become a successful outfitter.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Neat.
Yeah, no doubt.
So would that be kind of the average length of trips over there, 7 to 10 days?
I would say never even think about a 7-day trip. It's way too short. I know, for business, people that's really, limited to their business days, they can get off if they take their leave. I can see 7 days can work, but a 10-day trip is probably the ideal one. And the reason for that is because the first 2-3 days is tough on your body, traveling a long way. I think in the previous podcast, Tony mentioned it, it's somewhere in the 30 hours, of traveling door to door. So it sounds much worse than it is, but your body feels it. So I always tell the guys, it's no need for the first day just to get in it and go hard. You get people that wants to do it, but I say take the first day easy, and then, from the second, third day, you can start to enjoy your safari.
So, do we get into, there's got to be some dangerous game over there. Yet? Yeah, that's what I was. Yep, that's what I was trying to work into there, Tony. But thank you very much. Exactly. Let's hear some of those.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We aren't only springbucks and stuff, so we don't have any scary stuff.
All from elevated.
No, I would say interesting story that happened, and I'm glad it happened. Early in my hunting career, which is probably still the one that you always think of when you hunt buffalo. Is so good friends of us from Kuvima Safaris. They also had the Minnesota show. That was a guy that when I only had a couple of groups of Marupa clients, to fill up my year, I was hunting with them at Kuvima Safaris, and they also, I learned a lot from them in this industry. But So the owner, Andre Stewart, phoned me one afternoon and asked me if he wants to come over and hunt a buffalo at our place. So our place in Limpopo was 15,000 acres. So it's quite a big area, just to start off. And it's not just you're going to come in and shoot a buffalo. So my tracker at that time was Alpheus. He was about 65 years old. Great guy, great on a track. It's amazing. That's one thing that I think the clients enjoy the most is the trackers, on how good they can track animals, through the bush. So we were around there. But when Andre stopped there with the husband, wife, they were from the States. I'm not sure where in the States. The lady was very upset with me and Dolph. That's the other PH that needed to, because we said we're going to go with them. So, and I'm like, and I didn't think she realized that it was our property, so that's actually the reason we're going with, is just to help them and show them the areas to go and look. So we all got on the vehicle and we stopped about, halfway out, to where we want to go. And I could see the husband wife was very upset about, us traveling with. And I said, okay, but it's fine. I'll just arrange for someone to bring a truck for us. Then we'll go on our own and we'll have a radio and we'll call the people. So we spotted a nice buffalo bull and we were sitting on this hill and I talked to them on the radio where to go. And so they eventually stopped the truck and they were going into this valley and after the buffalo. And then they lost the track. So I'm sitting with Alpheus, my tracker with me, and Dolph. So we're sitting and trying to watch this buffalo, but we lost sight of this buffalo. And we called on the radio, and I'm not sure, the lady was sitting with the radio in the truck, the American lady, and she was, getting very upset and telling, she thought it's her husband and Andre calling her. She thought we chased the buffalo away because she could see us on the other side of the mountain. So she was not happy with us at all from the beginning, and we just there to help. So we ended up, they were getting back to the vehicle, and I said, me, Dolph, and Alpheus will go on the track and we'll track this buffalo till we see what area it's going to go, and then we'll probably have another approach. And so me and Dolph and Alpheus is behind this track, and we got to a point where it started feeling, that this buffalo didn't know where he wants to go, what he wants to do. It's kind of tracks going to the left and to the right. So we all split it up that moment. Yeah, and the next moment, I just heard Alpheus screaming. And when I kind of ran towards him, the buffalo already had him in the stomach. And the first, the way we hooked him the first time was below the stomach. And then the horn actually popped up here, just in front of his neck. He was all curled up in that horn. Don't have a gun, don't have anything with me. And so that's why I say I'm so, happy that something like that happened with us, early in the career, to avoid things like that in the future. And then, so I'm kind of trying to stay close to a tree there, because you don't know what to do in that situation. You can't help or anything. And then the buffalo, he threw him up in the air and he dropped on the ground. And then he picked him up in the leg and he started to run with him. So he was basically just bouncing there on the horns, and then he fell off. So then and then the buffalo just took a direction and ran off. So I got on the emergency channel with my dad. So we've got an emergency channel on our radios just to call everyone, in the area. So everybody that picks, the signal up can hear what's going on. So I was trying to get a helicopter, from Alice Ross was the closest down to come and help Alpheus. But, I took my belt off, wrapped my shirt around. That leg wound was terrible and just wrapped my belt around it. And, Dolph was helping him. So we carried him out of the bush till we got to a road. And then Dad was already there to pick him up. But from there, to drive all the way to the closest gate was about 45 minutes, but we couldn't get a helicopter at that point. So Dad was already arranging with the ambulance, to meet us halfway. And Alpheus survived that whole experience. He ended up 3 months in the hospital. And, but it was probably the first time ever that I heard of a buffalo that just charged someone without being injured,
right,
or out being wounded. Sorry. And the thing is that buffalo was probably injured by another bull, and that's why, he probably acted that way. But that was just a big lesson to learn, that never walk around without a gun if you're after a dangerous game. That's why they probably call it dangerous game, is to you always need to have your weapon with you. So that was quite an interesting story that happened in my career. And then you get a lot of situations where you get a wounded buffalo or a wounded lion, that acts a bit weird, that wants to get you. But most of the times, you can avoid that situations. So,
you had a fairly recent lion charge, didn't you?
Yes, I had one. It was our last lion with a guy from Alabama, where I was kind of impressed with myself to make that good of a shot. I think it was more luck than anything, but that was a close one. Yeah, we stopped that lion on about 8 yards. It's a lot of people, I think, always going on dangerous game have that in mind, that if I'm going to be in a charge situation, and there's a lot of that plays a role on how you approach the whole hunt as well. I can say you can avoid most of it if you do it, if you're smart enough. But I think a lot of people get the thrill out of it, if something like that happen, and that's not me. I would rather get the job done easy and finish as possible. But just sometimes, you get in a situation where the only thing to do is to go for it, and that's normally when you walk into the trouble. But then you must trust the person next to you, and you must trust your client, and your client must trust you. If there's no trust, there's no need to go and do it.
Right.
I think what's interesting is you're right on that, Peter. The thrill is what people, I think, are excited about, but I think once they realize, when it actually becomes real, and you actually go out on a lion hunt. I'll say lion hunt versus buffalo, they're both a little bit scary. I'm not going to lie. I've done some lion hunting with Peter, and I always tell people that's the scariest thing I ever did, but it was the coolest thing I ever did, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I remember working into this lion hunt over the years, because it wasn't like we just decided one day to go lion hunt. It was something that we talked about, because again, going with a bow was going to be a little different. And all Peter kept saying, you do know it's going to charge at some point, right? You must be prepared for a charge at some point.
No, I always say, I think if you go on a dangerous game hunt, it's expect that charge from any direction, anytime, especially in a wounded situation.
Yeah.
People are a lot of time just focused on where that animal went, but kind of look around you. You never know what can happen, and what can happen very quick. It's amazing how a wounded animal, how fast that thing can come in a short distance.
Right.
We had that incident with a buffalo 2 years ago with a guy here from Minnesota, where he shot his buffalo twice with his double 470. When it was laying down, I thought it's no need, but just give him 2 extra ones, and then we know it's done. And we were probably 10 yards from it, and that buffalo got up so quick that my first shot out of my 500 was just below the eye, and that didn't make that buffalo flinch. And that's how I realized, how dangerous, it can get in situations where you think even an animal is dead. You're walking up to a dead animal, and that's probably why they say, that it's the dead one that gets you, because we were very comfortable walking up to this animal. And again, you learn out of it. So next time you're not going to walk up to a dead buffalo like that. So, but that's those kind of things, you're lucky when you kind of realize it when you sit at fire at night, and you kind of, actually when you go to bed, that's when it hits you, when everything slows down, because it's a lot of excitement and a lot of hype going on, from the time you get the buffalo and everything happen, and it's adrenaline, and everybody talks about it and having beers. But when you go and you get quiet and you settle down, and you lie in bed, that's when it hits you how close it actually was.
Right.
So I'd have to bring a few extra diapers.
Right.
Or my brown pants.
Right. So you.
But I think but it will be great if, I traveled all the way to Minnesota to have the podcast with you guys. I think it will be great if we can have maybe one in South Africa one day.
I would love that.
Yeah. That would be amazing. Yeah. Yes.
I might stick to the Springbok, but
I don't know. Sounds kind of fun, but you shooting one of those things in the face with a 500 and it doesn't flinch. It makes me have second thoughts.
Right. So
I always tell the guys, sorry, I'm jumping back and forward here, but getting back on hunting, and not just that dangerous game. I always tell the guys, put some time and effort into, doing some practice shooting before you come to South Africa. I'd say it's the animals. It's not just about the money you lose, but there's some ethic to it as well. It's get some people that gets there and they think they are cowboys, and I grew up where if you wound an animal, you're gonna work till you find that animal. So a lot of guys show up and the guns are off, and so I always try to tell the guys, just prepare well. I'm busy to actually, I haven't mentioned it to Tony, but to write like a little, how can I say it, like a magazine type of deal with just some info, with some chapters similar like what we talk about now. Is just to explain to the guys on, you always have these standard questions about coming to South Africa and what should you do and what to do and all of that. But there's so much more to it, the finer detail that can make or break a trip, and like I say, I always tell the guys, I don't want you to do the invoice on the last day and write that kudu price on there and know that animal is still out there running. I know we all wound animals and make bad shots. We're not perfect, but you can get in a position where you can get a good opportunity at least to make a good shot. So things can go wrong, but yeah, that's why I just say prepare well for your trip to Africa.
So do most people bring guns with them, or can they rent guns from you? Like, obviously, I don't have a 500, to kill anything that big. So, not that I'm afraid not to buy one, but...
No, yes, I would say there's 50% of the people will bring their own guns. It's actually a straightforward, going to South Africa, it's straightforward. The best way is to do it through Atlanta. They deal with it all the time. And then, paperwork is something that we take care of. So we just need a couple of things from the client that he needs to send. And then they bring in their own guns. But I always tell the guys, if you want to do Cape Town and you want to do Kruger and you want to do a little bit of hunting, leave your gun, because it's a hassle to travel with that gun case, to the hotels in Cape Town and to the Kruger National Park. And so, but if you just come for a hunting trip, it's straightforward and easy, so then you can just bring your own gun.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Good to know.
So 50 BMG is the way to go. You're getting
kind of sounds
right?
like it.
That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the only way I'd shoot a buffalo, I think.
Well, I mean, yeah, South Africa. Can we just mount a 50 cal on top of a Jeep and call it good, or do we have to actually get off the road?
We can probably do it. If that's the way you want to do it, we can do it.
All right. Yeah. Sign me up, Pieter.
Yeah, no, maybe next year me and Tony will come and visit you guys up there.
Oh, we're going to come down and visit you guys this weekend.
Yeah. We'll show you.
Yeah, we'll see each other. Yeah, it will be great to meet you guys in person.
For sure.
We'll get you some crazy, dangerous northern pike ice fishing.
There you go. There you go.
You might lose a thumb.
Or at least get a cut.
Yeah. No, I don't mind. I enjoy fishing a lot, so I'm always up for a fishing trip.
I think Pieter likes fishing more than hunting sometimes.
Right. But have you ever thrown a spear through a hole in the ice? At a fish?
No, never.
There you go. That's an experience we can provide.
You should see some of the marlin this guy catches.
Oh gosh,
I believe it.
Yeah, so that's also what we offer. We got to a point where people still wants to visit me, and they're like, what are we going to do this time? So it's always like running out of ideas. It's okay. We've been to Vic Falls. We've been to Cape Town. We've been to Kruger. We've hunted most of the species. And then we got to the point where we started to do some fishing. So we got a place down there in St. Lucia. and we do some marlin fishing and game fishing trips out of that. So that becomes very popular. There's more and more people, that combine their safaris and do something like that with the hunting.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Marlin, that would be fun.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm one of those guys that Peter was just talking about that thinks they're a cowboy. So
Yeah.
I want to go out there and like lasso a zebra, and then shoot a springbok off of
when you book
back.
when you book that trip, I'm coming to watch that. I'll be a Castle beer up there watching you lasso that zebra, and I'll be entertained all afternoon.
Yes, we will.
Right.
I heard a statement the other day: when you're dumb in the morning, you're dumb all day.
Hey, when you're dumb in the womb, you're dumb all life.
Welcome to my world.
Now, the worst we had was a guy here he's actually also from northern Minnesota, but I'm not going to name any names here, but he showed up with his brand new 416 with his scope not even mounted on his gun.
Oh my God.
Hunting a buffalo for the first time. First animal in Africa. He shows up with a gun and a scope, separate boxes. We still need to sight it in, so, and you can imagine how that turned out.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he end up borrowing a gun or renting a gun?
No, we almost got killed. That's buffalo where we also wounded the buffalo, and actually me and Dolph was doing that safari. It was in the Pongola area, and we had a guy there from the national park with us as well with his gun. So when that buffalo charged, it was me and Dolph, and we just, it was so thick, we both missed what we needed to eat. And yeah, I'm glad this other guy that was with us, he had another shot on close range, and he got the buffalo. But like I said, the client, told us, no, let's just leave that buffalo and let's just go and look for another one. And it's just the way I grew up. That's not the case, you need to finish it off. So
I'm with you
we were
on that
trying
one.
to get. Yeah, we were trying to look at some other options, maybe just to get a helicopter and scan that area to see, where he is and what's going on. It was so thick that you needed to crawl on your knees, and, so it's very uncomfortable. So, that was just getting back to that cowboy point.
Yeah, those damn northern Minnesotans.
Right. I didn't even know Tony had a 460.
He did.
I'm going to get one now. Now I just want to shoot buffalo with one.
Yeah. He just duct taped a cartridge to the end of his arrow.
That's awesome.
And
So when is Tony going back for that crocodile there, Peter?
I was hoping to talk to him, but he's got another trip now booked in early January. But I was
I
hoping
can come after that.
Yeah, well, if he can come in January, it will be great. Then me and him can fly back together, to the States for my marketing trip. So it's always nice, to do something like that, and you can all leave together.
We'll do it. We'll make it happen. That sounds good.
So
it's a date.
We'll probably look at something in January and
Croc and a hippo.
Wow.
maybe a
and a
spotted
hippo
hyena
too,
or
huh?
something.
man,
Yeah, the hippo is a difficult one. That's it's not something that you're gonna go after and you're gonna see them, but it's if you're gonna get a shot, that's the big question. So I would say, focus on maybe 2 or 3, trophies that there's a good possibility, and if the hippo comes along and gives us an opportunity, we'll do that.
Well, then we'll do a croc and a hyena. That sounds good.
I just watched a video of a hippo tipping over a boat, and this guy went flying in the water. I was like, "Yep, nope, ain't going, ain't going."
those things are too dangerous.
Yeah.
You got to be careful swimming in the water. I will say that.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, crocs,
There's too many
hippos.
things in
Yeah,
them waters
no.
that I nope. If that's the only shower I got, I'm showering in dirt. Don't even care.
Oh man.
No, I'm still waiting for the delivery. I bought myself a nice video camera like a professional will do, so I'll see how that's going to go. I just want to get some more footage of the safaris as well, and not just the hunting side. It's just I think to explain to people and a photo, you can sit there for half an hour and tell everyone how the things look down there, and how it is, but I think a photo just give you a better picture. So I probably this year gonna step out of the guiding a little bit and have the PHs doing the work, and I'll probably grab that video camera and do some good video footage, of the safari. So
that'd be
we'll
cool.
put it together, it will probably be by the end of this year. We'll put something together and we'll send you guys a copy so you can get to see what we talk about.
Yeah,
well, very cool. Together.
Yeah, but it's something new for me, I know we've got, but I only got footage of you, like things that you did.
Right.
And nobody wants to see that.
Videos, but it's all about me. That wasn't what I meant.
I want to see Tony screaming and running.
Right.
What I was trying to say was he's actually good at when it comes to videoing.
Yeah, we got 90 minutes of Tony running away with shit in his pants.
I was gonna say it's like, well, we're photographers and videographers. I mean, if you need somebody to come out for a few months and video and stuff, I mean, I'd do it.
You get the buffalo hunts.
Yeah, okay.
I can carry a camera bag.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are anytime welcome. If you're friends with Tony, then you're always welcome.
He might regret that.
That means I got to start being nicer to Tony.
Right.
I feel this bonding of love once again.
That's right. That's right.
Always.
Well, we talked about your favorite game animal to eat, but what is your favorite to hunt and what's your favorite to guide?
I would probably say kudu.
Yeah.
Kudu in Limpopo is probably I think it feels the most rewarding by getting a big kudu bull. And I always think of, if I hear the stories about what the Americans say about a big whitetail, that whitetail they've seen on cameras before the hunting season, and then all of a sudden when hunting season pops up, it disappears. And that's kudu hunting. That's the same, it's always you need to, the first one that makes the mistake, the other one's going to be the winner. So, kudu hunting is probably going to be my number one. And I enjoy the night hunting side of it as well. I think it's because you get to see a lot of things that you don't see during the day. So night hunting is a lot of fun for me. And, we target some species at night as well. There's certain areas that you need to have special permits for doing that. But that's at least one thing that you can do in South Africa and without any trouble, especially if it's on your own private property.
Very cool.
That kudu, those things are awesome.
They are cool.
Isn't that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I want that in a spring.
Yeah, I would say kudu hunting is they act like a big whitetail, and you hunt them in areas like where you will hunt your elk. I would say in mountainous areas, just much more thicker. But it gives you a combination. It's a very difficult animal to hunt, and you hunt them in difficult terrain, but again, I think as a South African boy growing up, it's probably his biggest dream is not buffalo or anything like that. I think it's a big kudu bull. And if the day when you can get on foot and you can get your big kudu bull, then you'll probably become a real hunter.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about that terrain when you're riding a zebra bareback.
Right. You're a big talker, man. You're a big talker. Oh, man.
Although over there you say zebra, don't you?
Zebra.
Zebra?
Yeah.
All right.
Zebra, yeah. That's how we say it in Afrikaans.
Is it?
Yeah.
Never been.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's how our language is Afrikaans, so that's a lot of European combination languages into Afrikaans. So
yeah.
Awesome.
I think Tony can do a little bit of Afrikaans now and then. He picks up on, so if we as PHs just having a little chat, he can pick up on what we say.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can understand it better than I can speak the language, if that makes any sense.
So they're making fun of him. He's like, hey.
Yeah. So a phrase you probably commonly say with your PHs is, Tony's going to blow this shot. So how would you say that in Afrikaans?
No. It's just support. Always support.
Hey, Jim, that's why you're my favorite.
I knew it. Hey, see, I've been nice the whole time.
I didn't say anything.
Peter, I love you too, buddy.
All right, there we go.
Here's making his way to the bottom here, though. What's going on?
Screw you, sir.
Hey, Dolph, watch the arrow on this one because we're gonna have to go find it.
So I have a funny Nashville story about Afrikaans. If I don't want to take up too much Peter's time, but so there I was in a bar of all places in Nashville because the SCI convention was in Nashville last week, and this guy comes up and I recognized his accent as Afrikaans, so I said, "Hey, Chopa!" and he goes, "Afrikaans." He goes, "Buy a donkey," and I'm like, "Yep, that's about as far as I can get you." But
Did you just say buy a donkey?
That's what I heard. Buy a donkey.
What I heard too.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And it's buy a donkey?
Not donkey.
Donkey.
It's DANKIE, donkey.
Okay.
Donkey.
And I could speak that language.
Donkey.
I was looking at Limpopo. I was like, wow, you guys border Botswana and Zimbabwe, huh?
Yeah, so that's where our first property was located, was in Limpopo.
Okay.
The one we got now is in Kimberley. So that is
I see it.
southwest of Johannesburg.
Okay, yep, I see it.
And the thing is, we had both properties at some point, but it was just difficult to manage, two properties that's 12 hours apart from each other, so that's why we ended up just deciding the Kimberley area is the better area because you can do cattle farming and you can do game farming.
Oh,
Okay.
you're a cattle farmer too.
Yeah, I won't say I'm a cattle farmer. That's just something I did, during COVID, realizing that you need to do at least something else for other source of income, if something like that pops up again. But yeah, that's still something that's growing. But we do have some cattle as well. We're actually leasing a property for that.
Okay.
Well, see, so we're not so different.
I know. It's like you're a cattle farmer.
We're a cattle farmer. Yeah.
From Kansas.
Yeah, we don't have no 15,000 acres, but close to 5. So, we're getting there.
That's good.
And we actually lease the hunting and stuff too. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like you and Peter are brothers.
Kinda.
We could be.
Yeah.
We definitely could be. I mean, we definitely speak different forms of English a lot of times, especially after a few beers. So,
Yeah.
But at least you guys can understand me. So
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
and
Well,
maybe we can get along.
Yeah. I want to test Google Translate's abilities here. If I was to say Tony is got, what am I saying?
No, come again, Day. I don't even understand that.
Tony is got.
Nobody knows, Jared. What are you doing?
What did you say, Tony?
I can't say it again. There's probably a little bit of a guttural and some
I don't know.
to it.
According to Google, that's how you say Tony's an asshole.
Oh, okay. Now it's because you say "gat" different, so that's why I didn't get it. Gat, yes.
An H.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Google didn't do
Oh
that.
man, Jared, I owe you a hug or something. You got
No doubt he must. He's not feeling the love.
There was too much love on the last episode.
apparently, yeah. Well, let's bring it back for this weekend at the SCI show.
There
Right,
you go.
right.
I'll give you a hug down there.
Yeah.
Right. Which
All right,
we should
sounds
probably
good.
put a shout out to. We'll be there, and I'll get this out before then. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Down there Friday and Saturday.
Right. And Peter will be there too.
Peter will be there.
Peter will be there. We got a check for you guys already.
You got a what?
We got a check for you guys already.
I love checks.
Sweet. We'll have another. Yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, cash, check,
Yeah.
coins, coupons.
Exciting stuff. The
Rupees?
partnership for Pork Barn Camp is going to be awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I
We're looking
can't
forward
wait.
to it.
Yeah, the
Look
cakes
forward
are
to
going to be great. Talked to her the other day, so she's excited. So yeah, that'll be.
Right.
I'm excited to see them.
Right.
I mean, I
We'll put you
won't
guys
be
up
able
on
to taste
stage.
one, but
Jared.
Oh, I don't know
Figure out
about
who's gonna
that.
speak.
I thought I had to record a video.
We did.
Right. So, but I also have to speak on stage.
I don't know.
You don't have to speak. We'll keep it short.
He's good at it.
Whatever. We'll figure it out on Friday. We got to figure out our show stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that'll be.
Right.
Don't sweat it.
I'm happy to if you want me to. It just that'll determine how clean my shirt is.
I just bought some new pants, so new shirt, new pants.
Wow.
I was thinking about buying a pair of new pants.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I have to buy a new pair of pants.
Well, I was thinking about it. I haven't done it yet.
Jeez, you guys are getting fancy.
I'm not going that. I'm not buying anything new. It's just a matter of, am I going to wash my clothes?
Right. I suppose
For
that
you,
time of month.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And Peter, you're going to have a booth there.
Cement? Who is?
Peter.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have a booth.
Perfect. So we can see Peter too. We'll swing by and visit there. I think we'll get a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a couple of beers there ready for you, and you can just come and sit down and enjoy a beer there at the booth.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's our kind of guy.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I'm actually working the booth with Peter.
He's defecting already.
That's right.
That's all right.
And we've got the lounge after the show each night too. So we've
Nice.
got,
Awesome.
stocked libations for after the show for all of you lovely patrons that are coming. So
Perfect.
we can talk smart and get smarter as the night goes on if you'd prefer,
Yeah.
Is that your first trip to the SEI banquet?
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
You're gonna love it. It's a great deal. It's probably one of my favorites, the Minnesota. I think it's because of the size of it to begin with, and after the show, the people getting together, having a couple of drinks together. It's just the atmosphere is great there.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've been wanting to go for years. It's just always overlapped with our big state banquet, and it didn't this year.
Okay.
So we're gonna make
We've
it.
only known each other a year and a half, dude.
Right.
It feels like decades, Tony. in a good way. In a good way.
All right.
I've been
It
wanting.
is in a good way.
I've been wanting to go to Nashville, and actually, the wife even the other day, she was looking on Facebook. She goes, "We should go to Nashville." I go, "SEI event?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool."
Right.
It is the most impressive. So I brought a buddy down. Well, he came down. He got tickets for a couple of days. And the look on his face, because he's heard me going down there for a number of years now, and the look on his face when we got to that auditorium, it will be forever ingrained in my memory, because he's like, "What the hell? It is so big." And I start walking around, and oh, hey, Melissa Bachman, hey, Tom Miranda, he's like, "They're everywhere." I'm like, "Yeah, they're everywhere, right?" Ran into Luke Bryan, it's celebrities everywhere,
Right.
When I say ran into Luke Bryan, that's a literal connotation. I literally ran into him in the hallway. So
That's kind of how you met Nick Muntz a few years ago.
I
stepped
on him. Yeah.
No, that's how we feel at SHOT Show too. You walk in and you're just so overwhelmed, and you bump into people everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Nick Munt was down at SCI too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I backed into him. And
and then
who's your favorite hero, Jim? Outdoor hero.
who's my what?
Celebrity. Who's
My
your favorite
favorite
outdoor celebrity?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Who do I get excited to see? I mean, I love seeing and hanging out with Melissa Bachman.
Yeah,
we always get to say hi to her and talk to her.
It's always
So,
nice to
yeah.
talk to her.
Yeah. So
Dean, who's yours?
Honestly, it would. I mean, I like Waddell. I do like Nick. Nick's pretty funny, but the guy out of Kansas, McMillan, he's out of
Tom
Stafford.
McMillan?
Yeah,
Sure.
I really like his show and like to see him. So, but yeah, I like Tom McMillan.
oh, I think Jared's is
I'm blanking on his name right now.
he's from Minnesota.
He's from Minnesota.
He's from
And,
Big Falls, Minnesota.
When I first started elk hunting, I watched his whole
Why am I
how to
blanking
elk
on
hunt, and I can't think of his name. He's from Little Fork or
Big Falls, Minnesota.
Big Falls.
Everybody knows him.
This is embarrassing.
This is embarrassing.
right now because he's like
I can't even
my
figure out
hero.
who's from Big Falls.
We just talked about him not that long ago.
I know.
Randy Eichler.
Lee?
Yep.
No,
No, for Fred.
no, but you were close.
Randy Newberg.
Randy
But I
Newberg.
think
Thank
it's from
you.
Colorado.
Newberg. I knew I could pull it out of there.
Yep.
Good
I
job.
knew I could pull it.
Oh, is that Randy Newberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his first name? Randy, isn't it?
Randy Newberg.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's from Big Falls, Minnesota, which I did not know until like a month ago.
Yeah.
Because I watched his whole elk hunting series when I moved out to Colorado, and yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But the locals, obviously, Pat Nicole,
Right.
leaves from Driven and whatnot. So we like to see them. So Tony, who's your favorite?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask. I don't actually know. I have to say, I find Tom McMillan extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
Pat and Nicole are enjoyable. They're just lovely people. So nice and so generous to different things and coming to the show and different things, which I appreciate. Waddell is one of the first ones I ever met. I was a long time ago. Funnier than hell. He's just super enjoyable. Nick Munt, I met him. He's great. Melissa Bachman, I've talked to a ton. Gosh, who's my favorite? Shocky's. It's hard to pick one, but I would probably say Shockey is probably the most inspirational.
Yeah.
Just from an overall, get out and do it. I can probably relate to him a little bit in some ways, and not from a hunting side as much as just a personal life. Having gone through different things and transitions in life where you're transitioning. I had a wife pass away, for example, and transitioning to a new relationship and things like that. So there's just some relatable things like that are interesting. And talking to him about that one time was just probably kind of just a cool thing between us so Shockey is just one of those guys I really admire, and he's just who he is, so.
Right. So we going to see any of those folks down in the cities this weekend?
I wish we could get them all, but I gave Melissa Bachman a hard time for never coming to our show, but she's so busy with everything.
Right.
But Pat and Nicole are coming. They're going to be there.
Okay.
They'll be there Saturday all day, so that'll be good.
And that's why they're my favorite.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Great.
Laird from SCI is coming, and Jeff Merrill from SCI are coming.
Right. And that Tony guy from STI.
Yeah, that Tony guy.
Yeah.
What was the
Black Death.
Just a measly little archery guy.
And then the guys from NBHA and DTB. I mean, they're going to be there.
That counts for a little,
Right.
cold.
I hope you guys got a lot of pictures to sign for autographs and stuff.
Well, I just
we
don't know
signed
what you had
foreheads.
to pay to afford to get them there. Their speaker fees are outrageous.
I'll just sign a forehead or two. I'm good.
Right.
I'm glad you said forehead.
I'm gonna sign a hot. However you say that.
There's kids that listen to this, Jared.
Are they Afrikaan kids?
Well, you did tell them the translation.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just the ass, though. Not
Right.
If things go south here with my wife, I am going with Peter. We're gonna hit the grocery store, find a nice Afrikaans lady, and
Boom.
get married.
There you go.
Right. Dual citizenship.
Right.
No problem.
No problem. Awesome.
I'm in big trouble now.
Yeah, you
Right?
are.
Yep.
Yeah, we all are.
Well, Tony doesn't have a date for this weekend.
No, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It'll be a good time.
absolutely.
It'll be nice to meet you in person, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm also looking forward to it. I'm glad you guys get to come to the Minnesota show. I think you will enjoy that environment there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. And then you can talk my wife into saying, hey, we need to bring him to Africa, to videotape some stuff or take pictures.
Yes.
Shoot some stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe
No, that's
stuff.
easy. We'll easy work with them. That's not a problem.
yeah, that's the easy part of it. It's how big my credit card is going to be after that. That's the hard part.
No, that's the thing we didn't really touch. I'm not sure if Tony mentioned in some of the other podcasts, about trips to Africa. I think a lot of people still sit with the mindset that, it's so expensive to go to South Africa. Yes, I know it's not just a couple of $100, but if you look at what you get and what you pay for, it's actually a lot what you can get. I know one of your biggest expenses is obviously your flights and the time thing, because there's 2 days that's burned on that part, and it's anything from $1,400 to $2,500 for your flight. So, and then there's some great packages that already include some animals that's way cheaper, and what you can do, probably a mule deer or an elk hunt here in the States. I know there's some other costs that comes involved, but yeah, if you guys stop by, I will definitely, give you an idea on what a trip will cost to Africa, like a full detailed trip. And because like I say, if people ever ask you, I still 8 out of the 10 people I talk to still thinks that it's just something they can't afford.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think just an average person that earns a salary can do a trip to Africa if you're willing to save as well. I've seen some kids that come over with their parents, that saved up money, and they do pretty well. They'll shoot a couple of trophies, but it's not as expensive as everybody thinks.
Everybody wants to do an Alaskan cruise, and that's their dream trip or something like that, because they think like an Africa trip isn't even attainable. And I always say you can do an Africa trip and have one hell of a good time for 10 plus days, and you won't spend what you'll spend on an Alaskan cruise. So that's usually the point where people are like, at least they'll start to listen to anything else beyond that. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, you can go shoot something like an elephant or something like that can cost you a lot more. There's certainly expensive things, but if you want to go and just enjoy a nice trip and see Africa and see the animals and hunt a few things, maybe go fishing or something like, boy, gosh, it's certainly affordable. Literally, you save up a couple bucks, you can go. It's very affordable. So,
love it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to make it happen at some point.
Well, yeah.
I think it'd be neat.
Right?
Neat, yeah.
Neat.
Cool.
Neat.
That's neat.
Awesome.
I'll go with you.
There you go.
We're going with Tony.
I'll fit in your blue bag. Well, it might be an extra. We'll have to use a camel bag for me. But yeah.
Right on.
Oh, man. Dean will end up donated to some kindergarten classroom.
They'll try to return me.
For sure.
DHL. There he goes.
Well, I'm sure these gentlemen have other better things to do than sit here and chat with us all night.
As does everyone else on this planet.
Because Peter could probably tell us, a ton of stories, and it'd be great to hear them. But we don't.
And we'll hear more this weekend. So,
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll hear more when we're on location.
We'll probably try to put. I'm not sure, we can always, when I'm in the area and you guys are available for something, and we can probably do that, maybe a yearly podcast.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think it'd be cool once you get back. I mean, obviously you're going to be busy, but, sometime mid-season, even like an evening when you're out having a drink and just pan across, your background in the lodge. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, just share that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Tony just need to help me a little, because I see I need to have these little setup. He
likes my microphone.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
It helps.
I just need to get that sorted out. But yeah, it will be great. Especially to do it out of Africa. That would be nice.
No doubt.
Yeah, very cool. We were hoping to do one with that. What's that?
I guess I have to go back over again.
Yeah,
well,
you're gonna have to,
because we didn't get to do the plan where we do a interview with you guys and you'd have a croc hanging in the background.
Right.
We'll have that. We'll do it one day.
No worries.
Yep,
that'll happen.
Perfect.
I like the positivity.
Well, thanks, guys. It's always a pleasure.
No, thank you. And thank you, Peter, for taking the time.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. I appreciate being on your podcast. That's special.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you being willing to do it.
Right. Yeah. Putting up with us.
Yep.
And we look forward to having a beer in your booth very shortly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Are these imported from South Africa, or are we talking Bud Lights here?
Unfortunately not. No, unfortunately not.
Oh, well.
But
we'll make
it will be very much enjoyable to have one of you guys there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
sounds great.
Sure.
Awesome. Right. Well, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys this weekend.
Oh, right on.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks,
guys. Have yourselves a good night.
All right, donkey.
Donkey. Hot.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf Dot Report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors.
Need help and don't know where to turn? First Call for Help 211 connects you to free, confidential support, including dedicated veteran services for housing, food, and mental health, available 24/7. Just dial 211. Help starts with your first call.